Hola, 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 hola. Good evening, dear students. Welcome to Competitiveness Module 10, code FG708. Today we are on week number 2. And we're going to check the next topics. The number 1, that is propagation of plants. The number 2, that will be the sexual propagation of plants. And the last one, that is asexual propagation. My name is Elio Ochoa. You have my personal data here if you want to send me a message. Or if you have some questions, please use this QR to subscribe to our channel group on Telegram. Now let's go ahead. Here I included again the QR code in order that you can subscribe to our channel. And also I included this link here. In case you are not able to use the QR code, you can use this link also. And if you have some questions or need additional information regarding to this course, send me an email to fg708 at ural.edu.gt. Let's continue with our objectives for today. Just a minute, please. Okay, here we have our class objectives. The number 1, that is describe the concept. Describe the concept of propagation of plants, then study sexual plants propagation. And the number 3, explain some types of asexual plants propagation. Let me just a minute, please. Let me check here how I can. Okay, just please. I need to configure the presentation again. Just a minute. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, now let's continue. Propagation of plants. When we're talking about this topic here, it means that we're trying to obtain new plants, just a few plants or a great amount of plants using some sources like seeds, or we can use cuttings or bulbs, tubers, rhizomes, or plant tissues. During the next slide information, we're going to check each one of these types of propagation of plants. Plant propagation has several objectives, such as increasing the number of plants or preserving genetic diversity, improving plant characteristics, or creating new varieties. Plant propagation can be done either sexually or asexually, depending on the type of plant and the method used. So you can see here that there are 2 main processes that we can use to obtain new plants. The number 1, that is sexually, or the number 2, that is asexual. So you can see here on these images some examples on how to get new plants. This is I think this is a rhizome method. And here to your right, you have like the cutting methods. But let's continue. Here we have a bunch of trees, and they were obtained using some of the previous processes that we are discussing here. Now let's continue with the next slide information. And now we're talking to, uh, about sexual propagation of plants. This process involves reproduction by seeds, which are the result of the union of male and female gametes. These are two factors that we need to have in order to uh, reproduce plants using the sexual propagation. Female and male gametes, and these two elements are located in flowers. The sexual propagation has the advantage of generating genetic variability among plants, which can favor adaptation to different environmental conditions or resistance to pests and diseases. However, sexual propagation also has disadvantages such as the delay in obtaining mature plants, the loss of desirable characteristics due to genetic recombination, or the need for specific conditions for seed germination and growth. When we have sexual propagation, we are using a seed, basically a seed that we plant through the soil. Then this little seed will be growing like this step here, then another step here, until we're getting a new plant. Okay, with stem, leaves, and roots, as we saw on our previous class last week. Okay, now let's go ahead. When we have the seed plant reproduction, we also need the parts of the plants, like the flower here, the flower, or also uh, the seed, the seed that this seed will produce a fruit, and then we're getting a new plant like the one we are seeing on the left. Let's go ahead. Some plants that propagate sexually in Guatemala are pine. Some examples here: pine. We have also pinarete and myrtle, which reproduce by seeds that require a cold period to germinate. Some plants that are propagated asexually in Guatemala are salvia, that we here, salvia, mozote, and malacate, which are reproduced by cuttings or layering. These methods of plant propagation are useful for ecological restoration and biodiversity conservation. These are also a few examples. Let's go ahead. And when we are using the sexual propagation, we also need a process called pollination. Pollination. Let me turn on the pen. Pollination. Okay, and this is a process that occurs between a flower or of the same plant or between flowers of different plants. Pollination is the biological process by which pollen, we're talking here about pollen, is transferred from the male parts of the flower, the stamens, to the female parts, the pistil or stigma. Okay, so here we have some example here. The pollen that is here is collected by an insect like this bee here, and then this insect will be transporting the pollen to the female parts of the plant here, where they will find an ovule or an ovule, and this way these two parts, the male one will fusion to create a new plant. Now, this process allows the fertilization of the flowers, ovules, and the production of seed and fruit. Pollination can occur within the same flower, as I said before, same flower, or between flowers of the same plant or between flowers of different plants. Pollen can be transported by abiotic agents such as wind or water, or by biotic agents such as insects. We see here to your left, birds or bats. Pollination is essential for plant reproduction and diversity, as well as for the production of food and other resources for humans and other animals. Let's continue. Here we are seeing the activity that the wind does in order to help pollination. Okay? So if you see this is the wind like a cloud of wind where pollen is flying, and this way the wind will help in the process of pollination. We were talking also about insects like bees that are able to help uh, to this process called pollination here. Okay? Let's continue. We continue with this pollination process. Just let me turn on the pen. And this is of great importance for agriculture, as many crops depend on pollination services to increase their yield and quality. Pollinators, such as bees, here, pollinators, bumblebees, butterflies like, okay, let me see if I can. Uh, butterfly is like this one. Okay, this is like a butterfly, if you remember. And they are also insects that are able to help within the pollination process. Also, human birds and other animals contribute to food security and rural development by pollinating more than 75% of the world's food crops. So, please take attention because the 75% of the pollination process occurs thanks to the help of insects, some birds, and other factors like the wind, as we saw before. And also pollination also supports biodiversity, conservation, and adaptation to climate change by maintaining the genetic diversity of plants and their ability to adapt to environmental conditions. Let's go ahead. Uh, Let me check the chat. Just a minute. Just a minute, please. I'm not seeing. Okay, just a minute. I'm checking if I have. Okay, yes. I was checking the chat here, but it seems to me. Okay. Now they are at the bottom of the screen, so this is why I didn't see the messages before. Your messages before, and I have here Maria Guzman, Zulma Carrera, Julio del Cid, Henry Chinchilla. Good evening for everybody. Let's continue with our class. And now we're going to analyze some characteristics of sexual hybrid reproduction. This is another important process that we can use to reproduce or get new plants. Hybrid plants are those that result from crossing two different species. If we cross two different species, either naturally or artificially, we will be able to get new plants. These plants usually have combined characteristics of their parents, which can give them adaptive or aesthetic advantages. Some examples of hybrid plants are some characteristics of hybrid plants are the yield and the uniformity. When we talk about yield, we're talking about hybrid plants usually have a higher yield than non-hybrid plants. Okay? Uh, they have a higher yield than non-hybrid plants due to the phenomenon of heterosis or hybrid vigor, which implies an increase in productivity. Okay? It implies an increase in productivity. Okay, this is the characteristics that we're talking about here: yield, resistance, and adaptability of hybrid plants. Uniformity. Hybrid plants are usually more uniform than non-hybrids. Hybrid plants are usually more uniform than non-hybrids, since they have a practically unique genotype, while non-hybrids can have several genotypes within the same variety. Let's go ahead. Here we have another characteristics like quality or cost. When we have a hybrid plant, the quality tend to have better quality than non-hybrids. Better quality for hybrids compare with the non-hybrids in terms of appearance, flavor, aroma, nutritional value, etc. This is because the variants with the best characteristics are selected to obtain the hybrids. Cost. Hybrid plants usually have a higher cost. A higher cost than non-hybrids, both in the production of the seeds and in the purchase by the farmer or the consumer. This is because the process of obtaining seeds is more complex and requires more resources and research. So these are the different characteristics that we are comparing between hybrid plants and non-hybrid plants. Let's continue. Here we have the last characteristic that we are analyzing, the specialization. And it says that hybrid plants tend to be more specialized for certain purposes or markets, such as industrial production and mass consumption or export. Non-hybrid plants tend to be more versatile and suitable for self-consumption, local trade, or agroecology. Let's continue. Now we're going to see some examples of hybrid plants like um, the stargazer lily here, stargazer lily, or the lemon boy. They are two different examples of hybrid plants. Stargazer lily is a hybrid lily belonging to the Oriental group created by a California lily breeder in 1974. Okay, but this star lily was created in California lily breeder in 1974. It has large, fragrant pink flowers with white and red spots. It is a fast-growing plant that blooms in summer. Let's check. This is the stargaze lily. The one here is the stargaze lily. And we were analyzing the information on the previous slide. Let's go back again. And we were talking also about the lemon boy, that is a popular hybrid tomato variety that is relatively new. It is a big hit among both home and commercial growers. The medium-sized fruits grow to 7 or 8 ounces and have a distinct, beautiful, bright, also yellow color. The lemon boy hybrid is very disease resistant and grows at an average speed, producing fruit in about 72 days. The price lemon boys are sugary, sweet, high yielding, and can be harvested throughout the growing season if kept well. Let's check the image here, and you can see this example of lemon boy. That is a hybrid plant. It is sweeter, also graver than the normal tomato that we know. Let's go ahead with the next examples here. We also will check this example that is a tomato, and this is a hybrid plant obtained by grafting a tomato and potato plant. We are crossing in this case, just a minute. We are crossing, in this case, a tomato plant with a potato plant. They both species belong to the same genus Solanum, so they are compatible. A single tomato plant produces tomatoes on the branches and potatoes on the roots. So this is the the interesting characteristic, because this plant is able to produce tomatoes on the branches and potatoes on the roots. It was commercially released in the United Kingdom in 2013. Let's check an image of this example. Here, here is the tomato here. And you are able to see that it produces potatoes on roots, and it produces tomatoes within the branch. Okay, so this is the new plant, the hybrid one that was obtained crossing a tomato plus a potato. So let's go ahead. There are other examples, but we are not able to see these plants here in our country. But this one, the shade plane tree, is a hybrid tree that arises from the cross between the Oriental plane tree, or Platanus orientalis, and the western plane tree, that is a Platanus occidentalis. It is a very resistant and adaptable tree, which can reach up to 40 meters in height. It has a large, long leaves and spherical fruits that hang in clusters, like we see here. This is an example. But it seems to me that we don't see this type of plants here in Guatemala, but it's a general example. Now, let's continue. Okay, here, these are the examples. You can see here that this is a big tree that produces this type of fruits here. Okay, so that's all that we can see here. Let's continue. And now we're talking about asexual propagation of plants. In this case, we will be using some parts of the plants, but not the seeds, only some vegetative parts, like stems, leaves, roots, fruits, or bulbs. When we are using this type of process, the asexual propagation has the advantage of obtaining plants that are identical to the parent plant, which allows the preservation of desirable characteristics or uniformity of crops. So, one of the advantages of this method is that when we are using this process, we will get an identical plant to the parent plant, and it is called a clone. Okay, clone. In addition, asexual propagation is usually faster and more efficient than sexual propagation, as it does not depend on external factors such as pollination or seed dispersal. However, asexual propagation also has disadvantages such as reduced genetic variability between plants, which can increase the risk of infections or harmful mutations, or the need for greater care and handling of the vegetative herbs. So each process has its own advantages or disadvantages. So, we need to know about these two factors in order to use one or the other. Let's continue. Uh, when we are using this method for sexual propagation, we have sometimes the first one that we are seeing here is the cutting method. Okay, the cutting method. This one here. Cutting. This consists of cutting a part of the stem or leaf of a plant and placing it in a suitable substrate so that it can emit roots and form a new plant. So basically, we are cutting a piece of the original parent plant, that is the parent plant, and then we let it grow some roots. Okay, some roots. And after this, we can plant this piece of the previous parent plant into the soil in order to get the new one. It is a simple and economical method used for many ornamental or fruit species. Now let's check the next method. And here we have the grafting. Basically, grafting is combining two stems. Okay, let's check here. This will be the previous stem, okay, the previous stem, and then we are planting over the previous stem another part of the new plant that we need to reproduce using this type of process here, where the new plant will be inserted in order to produce a new one and combining the characteristics of the both of them. Uh, let's check the information here, and it says that grafting consists of joining a part of the stem of a plant with the stem or rootstock of another compatible plant, so that they nourish and grow together. It is a method that allows combining the advantages of both plants, such as the cold or disease resistance of rootstock and the quality of flavor of the graft. It is used for many fruits or forest species. So this is another method that we can use. Let's check the next example. And it is the layering process. When we are working on, we are planting or we're getting a new plant using this method. Basically, if we have a previous plant and old one, then we put the new or a little branch here into the soil, that this part will be producing new roots, and then we will be able to cut the plant here in order to obtain the new one. It says that it consists of causing the rooting of a part of the stem of a plant without separating it from the mother plant, but just in for a few days. When we know that the new plant has its own roots, we are able to root it, and the new one will be growing independently. Okay, and then putting it to obtain a new plant. It is a method that makes it possible to obtain more vigorous and more adaptable plants than by pruning. It is used for some woody or climbing species. Let's continue. Here, uh, there's another method that is the division, and it consists of separating the parts that form a plant with several individuals united by the cellular system. So, in this case, we only need to separate um, different roots uh, that are together. Let's say they are together. So in the same root system. So we only need to separate them, and this way we are able to plant each one into the soil, and we'll be getting two new plants. Uh, some examples that we can use in order to have this process are bulbs, tubers, or rhizomes, and planting them separately to obtain new plants. It is an easy and fast method used for many herbaceous or bulbous species. Let's go ahead. There's another process here that is called micropropagation. In this case, uh, this consists of growing small pieces of plant tissue. Here we are. Using like molecules or cells, small pieces of plant tissue under sterile conditions in a nutrient medium that stimulates their cellular multiplication and their differentiation into vegetative organs. So in this case, we are using also a laboratory, maybe a microscope, and other tools uh, in in order to obtain the new plants. Okay, it is a method that makes it possible to obtain a large number of identical disease-free plants in a short time and space. It is used for many ornamental fruits or medicinal species. Remember that in this method, we are obtaining a bunch of clones, a bunch of clones, identical plants coming from the parents. Okay, so this is a good process. to get a big amount of new plants. Now, okay, I have no more time to continue with the class uh, because the time is gone. So I wish you a good night, and I'm going to see you on the next class.